Hey there, viewers! Do you ever feel like you think differently than most of the people around you? Chances are it makes you wonder if it's they who are stupid or are you? Now, we don't endorse narcissism around these territories, but it's possible that you might be much more intelligent than you give yourself credit for. There are hidden signs that mostly just pass as quirks that can have a deeper meaning. So let's talk about some of the random signs that indicate you're smarter than the people around you. Number 10, you're not a know-it-all. Wait, aren't bright people supposed to, know everything? Well, we asked Socrates about this, and he wrote this back, in all caps, mind you, "I know that I know nothing." Turns out one of the biggest signs of intelligence is actually understanding and accepting the fact that there's always much more that you could learn than you already know. Also, even if you're good at something, you could always be better at it. On the other hand, people who pretend they know everything actually end up closing their minds to newer concepts and only half understanding the things they're sure they already know. This concept kind of extends to self-criticism as well. While too much of it can be harmful to your mental health, a reasonable amount can mean you have a big brain. There was actually research about this. A number of students were given the same test to solve and were later asked how they thought they did. Those who were sure they got everything right ended up scoring much less than those who were critical of their performance. So behind that modesty and humbleness of yours lies a deep genius. Number 9. Good news for the dreamers. Do you get told you're not good enough because you don't pay attention and are stuck in a world of your own? Well, it turns out that people who mock you about it don't realize they're dealing with a next-level IQ. A study was conducted about this where researchers told 100 people to stare aimlessly at a fixed point. While they were doing this, their brains were scanned, and the results? They showed that the ones whose minds went wandering were the ones with higher intelligence. These people also revealed that daydreaming was a big part of their days. Being lost in your thoughts means your brain is more creative and has much more room for imagination than an average person. And imagination, folks, indicates higher intelligence. Also remember what Albert Einstein said, if you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. And that means a thing or two about being smart. Number 8, you're not impulsive. Being calm and collected and having self-control can get you labeled as a boring person, especially if you're young and surrounded by people who want to make a decision on a whim for the thrill of it. If that's you, don't worry too much. You're probably that way because you're far more intelligent than your peers. The connection between intelligence and self-control was put to test in a 2009 study. Spoiler, the results are in favor of the self-disciplined crowd. So the students in the said study were given an intelligence test and a reward. The catch, though, was that they gave them options about the reward. They could either take the reward immediately after the test, or they could wait for some time and win a higher amount. In the end, it was those who chose the second option that scored higher on the test. Having control means your brain is capable of a better grasp over a situation, which is why you can make decisions that are better in the long run. Unfortunately, the same can't be said about impulsive people. All right then, you're not boring, you're just smart as hell. Number 7, you're open to new ideas. If you get worried sometimes that you're probably too gullible because in any given situation you kind of understand everybody's point and where they're coming from, it's time you stop worrying and embrace this trait, which could be an indication of hidden genius. Studies show that people who can understand different points of view tend to be very intelligent. This is because they consider different ideas before reaching any conclusion, which is a sign of a bright mind. This open-mindedness is not just limited to ideologies and philosophy, it also applies to your everyday life. You're a person who's open to understanding other people's experiences, even if they're vastly different than yours. Guess what this does? It makes you better equipped at dealing with life and its various challenges. So yeah, empathy and an open mind will take you places. Number 6, you eat a lot of chocolate. Yes, all that heavenly chocolate isn't only kind to your taste buds, it's also doing wonders for your brain. So if you've been an avid chocolate eater all your life, you better believe that it has boosted your intelligence considerably. The chemicals found in the cocoa plant polish your cognitive abilities. They give you a sharp memory, a better attention span, and improve the speed at which you process information. This was proven when researchers found out that eating chocolate improved the test results of the participants of the study they conducted. Oh, and there have been studies that suggest that the countries where the population consumes relatively more chocolate tend to have a higher average IQ score. So all that chocolate might have been harsh on your teeth, but remember, it's also probably the reason everyone envies you for your sharpness. Number 5, you're self-aware. Do you ever sit down when you're upset and you can pinpoint the exact thing that's causing you to feel down? This doesn't mean you're overly sensitive or want attention. It actually means you're emotionally intelligent and self-aware. You know exactly what you're feeling while you're feeling it. And you also understand the importance of taking a moment to really express whatever emotion it is. And wait a minute, emotional intelligence doesn't stop there. It also means you understand how your mood affects others around you, so you put in the effort to be rational and reasonable about your behavior. Oh, and your self-awareness also means you're able to admit when you're wrong and know what's caused the problem. So instead of finding things to put blame on, your brain goes ahead and works out a solution for your trouble. So don't be brash on yourself for thinking too much. It's what geniuses do. Number 4, you're a self-talker. Listen, everyone thinks, but if you actually speak the thoughts out loud and engage in conversation with yourself, you're not weird. You've probably been shamed about it and told you're crazy, but the truth is that talking to yourself means you're smarter than an average person. You've got a better cognitive function. It means your brain is sharp and you're in control of your thoughts and are better qualified for making tough decisions. There was a study about it in the UK which found out that people who read stuff out loud to themselves tend to perform tasks efficiently with much better focus. There you are. Don't let the weird looks stop you from having a little chat with yourself. They don't know you're a genius. Number 3, you're a night owl. What's better than staying awake during the calm and quiet hours of the night and sleeping in on an angel's wings in the later hours of the morning? If your answer to that is nothing at all, chances are you've been criticized about it. But the good news is that researchers agree upon the fact that night owls have a higher IQ than the early birds. This is because going against evolutionary traits is linked to high intelligence. This includes deviating from the biological clock that wants us to sleep in the dark and wake up in the sun. There was also a study including over 20,000 people which concluded that the brightest minds stayed up late and the low IQ people went to bed earlier. So get your quality hours of sleep, but remember your love for the late night might mean you're way smarter than most people. Number 2, you're too curious. Were you the child who used to annoy everyone with the constant weird questions? If yes, you most probably grew into an adult with the same level of curiosity, but now you've learned to tame it. Studies have found that curiosity and intelligence go hand in hand. The more hungry you are for knowledge, the more intelligent your brain is. You want a clear explanation to all questions, not the "it's just the way things are" approach. And remember, that's the trait all great scientists have had in common. Number 1, messy handwriting. If you get a lot of heat because of your messy handwriting, it'll help that it could be a sign of your insane brain power. Most of the time, it's because your brain works faster than the pen, so the product on paper isn't neat and pretty. Studies published in psychological science journals suggest that bad handwriting is connected to a creative mind. So be proud of yourself. If your handwriting doesn't look like calligraphy, you're probably just too smart for all that. All right, let us know in the comments down below which one of these points is true for you. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to INFORAMA, and check out some of our other videos. We'll see you in the next one.